Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be giving you my Capricorn November 2017 horoscope forecast. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. Well, anyway, people, first thing is, as far as November goes, the Sun will be in Scorpio from the 1st until the 22nd. And the 11th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Capricorn. So at this time for Capricorn, there could be a strong focus, you could say, perhaps on 11th house matters. You could say aspirations and goals, friends, acquaintances. This could be done with a lot of that Scorpio intensity, and these aspirations and goals may be pursued with a lot of that Scorpio inner fortitude. And a lot of that, and really it could be a lot of resiliency as well, and about resolve and bouncing back if something doesn't go right the first time. So basically, it could also be Scorpio-like aspirations such as astrology, the occult and supernatural, alchemy, magic, investigation. Anyway, well, as far as November goes, the Sun will be in Sagittarius from the 22nd until the 30th, and the 12th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Capricorn. There could be that strong focus on private matters, seclusion, solitude, and in dealing with hidden adversaries. And the hidden adversaries thing could be done with really that what me worry type Sagittarius type manner, perhaps, and things that are done in solitude and seclusion and private can be taken on with a lot of that Sagittarius-like exuberance and enthusiasm. And really, it could really be also, keep in mind, you're talking about the 12th house, and being the Sun can be connected with vitality. And really, this could be about having diminished energy at this time to some degree. So that is something to look at as far as this goes. Now, could also be shining in 12th house type matters or subjects such as the metaphysical, which can include astrology, photography, something even with it could even be something spiritual and done with that Sagittarius like expansiveness and optimism. Now the next thing is, well, the full moon will be in Taurus on November 4th. And for Capricorn, the 5th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So for Capricorn, this could indicate perhaps some kind of creative endeavor that required a lot of Taurus-like patience, perseverance, and persistence may culminate and come to an end at this time. It could also be one of those, as I call the case of the stubborns, maybe comes to an end, such as a love relationship or stubborn-like situation with the child comes to a conclusion at this time. This could be a time where you become full, maybe of something connected with a child or somebody that you might be in a romantic relationship with, and something where you've said enough is enough, and you're tired of bulls, no pun intended, of course, yeah, right. Tired of some kind of obstinacy or stubbornness from either a child or maybe somebody in a love or romantic relationship you could be in. So anyway, the next thing is the new moon will be in Scorpio, I believe November 18th, and the 11th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Capricorn. So this could be something, a new Scorpio-like endeavor could take place. That might be tied into an aspiration and goal. It could be something connected with astrology, supernatural, the occult, alchemy, magic, something connected with investigation. It can be something deep as well, something that requires some kind of deep research, or maybe some new friendship that might occur. That might be something that is really something that goes really strongly beyond the superficial. That could be very intense and really very strong and powerful. So anyway, well, the next thing is, as far as November goes, Mercury will be in Scorpio from the 1st until the 5th. And the 11th house, again, is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Capricorn. So there could be a more incisive, deep communications with friends and acquaintances. There could be more talk in conversation pertaining to one's goals and aspirations, ones that could be very deep indeed. This could be more intense communications with friends and perhaps acquaintances as well, and also thinking deeply, perhaps contemplating strongly about one's future. And there might be some talk about maybe making a transformation that might involve a friend, or might be some deep thinking that involves maybe in group matters as well, talking about maybe Scorpio-like things in groups, such as occult, the supernatural, astrology, things connected with horror, the macabre, things that are just very deep subjects, and really, and maybe things connected with deep research. So anyway, the next thing is, as far as November goes, Mercury will be in Sagittarius from the 5th until the 30th, and the 12th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Capricorn. So at this time for Capricorn, there could be a lot more, real private, philosophical, blunt, outspoken discussions. There could be perhaps also, Mercury is also about our short journeys, of course, and this could be a lot of short journeys that are not necessarily talked about, they're ones of a very secretive and hidden nature, and it's connected strongly with one's private life. This could be some communications as well, maybe about one's limitations and restrictions, but talking about them and maybe in a more positive light, since we're talking about this expansive Sagittarian energy, and being more philosophical regarding those matters. And it could be thinking positively about maybe weeding out those hidden adversaries and those people that might be posing as friends, and trying to get them to do whatever it takes to make sure to figure them out. So anyway, the next thing is, well, as far as November goes, Venus will be in Libra from the 1st until the 7th, and the 10th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Capricorn. So at this time for Capricorn, there might be, we're talking about Venus is about relationships, and the 10th house, of course, is about the career. So if Capricorn is unattached and doesn't have a significant other, there could be a relationship that may start, that may come from somebody figuring very prominently in one's career. It could also be, Venus being in Libra, it could be somebody that might be a Libra, or a Libra Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, or somebody that embodies those characteristics, a person that might be very charming, refined, cultured, diplomatic, tactful. Also, it could be about maybe making a little bit more money in one's career than usual. Venus is about money, and it could be through some Libra-like avenue. This also is about being, this could be a very good transit in terms of like you're talking about the reputation as well, and having peace as far as this goes. So this could cut down on less hate, things that might affect one's reputation adversely, because this is about less hate that could be connected with you as a person that might affect your public image or reputation. So anyway, also the next thing is, well, Venus will be in Scorpio as far as November goes from the 7th until the 30th, and the 11th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Capricorn. So at this time, this could be about maybe forming a very deep relationship, maybe with somebody that had maybe been a friend, and it might escalate to something a little stronger, maybe in a romantic type situation. And even and this could be about expressing very strong, deep love for one's friends and even acquaintances. This could also be about making money, perhaps connected with one's goals and one's aspirations, or from some group outlet. It could be from something Scorpio-like, such as the occult, astrology, supernatural, something. It could be connected with forensics or some kind of investigation. Just something Scorpio-like one way or the other. Also, the next thing is Mars will still be in Libra, of course, and the 10th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now, I talked about before about Venus being in Libra for an earlier part of the month, and the 10th house being emphasized and highlighted for Capricorn, and that could be more a peaceful situation in one's career matters. But when you're talking about Mars now, that'll help. I mean, that could add a little acrimony and make some situations perhaps in one's career or matters with a dominant parent, the maybe older people that are in positions of authority, superiors. The situation might be a little bit more contentious and acrimonious than usual. But you're talking about Mars and Libra, so that anger, that it might be done in a little bit into the situation. There might be some discord with these people that I described, but it might be done with this passive aggressive like Libra energy, where there's not as much really strongly outward combative situations, but ones that are more subtle. It could be about maybe ignoring requests from one to the other, not changing the subject, disagreeing by changing the subject, or not responding. So things of that nature. Anyway, the next thing is, well, Jupiter will be in Scorpio, of course, and the 11th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Capricorn. So this could be a little bit, I mean, keep in mind Jupiter is paradoxical. This could, I mean, though it is a benign and benevolent planet, this could be about enlargement, and this could enlarge perhaps surreptitious, sneaky-like activity in connection with one's perhaps friends, acquaintances. And also, too, this could be about expanding friendships, ones that are very deep, ones that aren't superficial, and doing so with a lot of that inner Scorpio-like fortitude. So, and also expressing a lot of exuberance and enthusiasm perhaps in 11th house matters such as goals, aspirations, the future, group activities, and the group activities could be tied in with something Scorpio-like, such as I stated before, astrology, the occult, supernatural. It could be something connected with mysteries, getting problem solving, getting to something where you're getting to the bottom of things, some kind of investigation. So anyway, the next thing is Saturn will be in Sagittarius still, and the 12th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Capricorn. So at this time, this is a time for Capricorn where it could be a very strong introspective period, which might be connected with one's philosophies, if you want to say philosophical introspection, looking at yourself and your philosophies perhaps very strongly. And it could also be about maybe an older person that might really figure more prominently in your private life than usual. And sometimes it could be the father that might embody these Sagittarius-like qualities, such as being very sagacious and having a lot of wisdom. And also, this could be too, I mean, about when you look at Saturn in the 12th house, this could be about taking care, discarding what's frivolous, what could be holding you back. This is about really just discarding the things that really are not that important anymore. This is also could be a time where you might really be strongly, just more in general, about seclusion and solitude, and bearing your sorrows rather secretively. I have Saturn in the 12th house natally, so I understand all about this. So anyway, it could also be about, in some cases that might be isolated, it could be taking responsibility for some kind of a mental illness in some cases, if one, I mean, but like I said, this could be in rather isolated type thing. And also this is about, I mean, about Saturn can also be about our restrictions and limitations. So you might feel there might be some restrictions and limitations. I mean, you're talking about the 12th house, the private life, maybe about expressing that exuberance, that enthusiasm about private matters, that Sagittarius-like enthusiasm and exuberance, I should say, and that expansive energy. in that, but it could always be about working laboriously in seclusion and in privacy as well. Maybe doing something Sagittarius, like something of a philosophical, religious nature. Even something, it might even I mean, sports is not generally work, but it can be considered hard work if you're doing something that really is expending a lot of energy. You know, something that, as I stated before, religion, philosophy, even sports. Um, could even be, I mean, just something, just something Sagittarius like in general. Well, anyway, the next thing is Uranus will still be in Aries, and the fourth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Capricorn. So this could be a time of just maybe continued, maybe possibly tumult and upheaval, connected, unpredictable events in the home. I mean, Uranus, remember, could be about electricity, so be very careful in the home, Capricorn, at this time. And as far as wires may be shorting out, there might be a greater propensity for that. You might be doing something. I mean, you could also be experiencing some unpredictable, acrimonious behavior from somebody prominent in your home or your family life. There could be unusual battles that are associated with your home, perhaps, or that are in your home. It also could be maybe about more of an unusual interest in one's roots and traditions as well. And anyway, the next thing is, well, Neptune will still be in Pisces, and the third house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Capricorn. So at this time, Capricorn really needs to be careful and scrutinize that fine print. If there's any kind of documents, anything in writing, be very careful at this time. This also could be about stronger duplicity and deception in connection with siblings as well, if applicable. This could be too, if if sibling or a neighbor, you know, might be involved, perhaps in recreational drugs and or alcohol at this time as well. And this could be too, I mean, it might be difficulty in deciphering those motives of neighbors and siblings at this time. I mean, you have a double dose of Pisces energy here, the Neptune and Pisces as well. But this could also be about communicating about Neptune, Pisces-like things, such as the metaphysical, which can include astrology, spirituality, chemistry, things that are connected, talking about drugs, whether it's recreational or otherwise. So those are, I mean, and really this, and it could be, I mean, also photography, just something that might be Neptune related. So anyway, well, the next thing is Pluto, of course, will still be in Capricorn, and the first house is what could be emphasized and what is emphasized and highlighted. So at this time, well, Capricorn might be continuing perhaps some kind of ongoing transformation, might be physical or metamorphosis, even something strongly connected with the personality and one's outlook at this time. And also, I mean, there could, in some cases, we're talking about transformation, there could be there's a little greater propensity for surgery at this time, and it could be on something, Capricorn, like something connected with the skin or the bones or the legs. So, and really, and some people, you know, they don't want to hear the dreaded D word, but I mean, you know, I talk about it anyway, and it's not to be offensive to people, but I have to still, I mean, talk about it. If I'm talking about something Pluto, 8th house related, it is part of astrology and it is connected with these things. So anyway, I mean, propensity for death, yes, of course, it can still, there could be a little greater possibility of that. But I think the strongest possibility is when it's making the conjunction aspect, especially to the ascendant. Now, especially if you have the Capricorn ascendant, and Pluto is in transit, Pluto is actually in conjunction to it, then that's a real greater possibility. So anyway, but that is minimal though. I mean, a lot of this energy is really about bringing things to a death, maybe that are connected, you know, with certain things, maybe with one's personality or one's outlook. And anyway, the next thing is the North Node will still be in Leo. So the 8th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Capricorn. So at this time, this could be about taking that Leo pride and dignity in matters connected with transformation, regeneration. It could be about maybe taking the time to be more magnanimous, more generous, maybe in matters connected with others' resources, doing more of your fair share, even if it's being a little bit more extravagant and adding and maybe purchasing some things that are associated perhaps with you and maybe someone you might be in a business partnership with, for example, or some intimate relationship with. This could also be, sometimes, the 8th house, we're talking about taxes as well, of something, the North Node can be about in transit issues we have to confront. So it might also be about having to be a little bit more extravagant to pay some taxes back in some situations, taking care of maybe a credit card debt. And also, the 8th house, of course, is, also about inheritances as well, so and death. So that could, and it can increase that chance and possibility of some issue that might have to be confronted in connection with that, and the death especially issue, can be done with a lot of that Leo, like fortitude, that courage. And anyway, well, the next thing is the Black Moon Lilith will be in Sagittarius as far as November goes, from the 1st until the 9th, and the 12th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Capricorn. So at this time, this could be, you're talking about Black Moon Lilith, which could represent an adversary, even a formidable one, and you have the 12th house of hidden adversary. So something could come out in terms of this hidden adversary that could be very strong, and it could be somebody that might either be a Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, or somebody that embodies those characteristics. This could be, too, something about one's private life or private matter that comes out in a very large and prodigious Sagittarius-like manner. It could be something connected with one's philosophical outlook that he or she didn't want to come out, something with religion or a reckless gambling situation. So anyway, well, the Black Moon Lilith, as far as November goes, will be in Capricorn from the 9th until the 30th. And the 1st house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Capricorn. So at this time, this could be an unveiling perhaps for Capricorn about maybe something pertaining to themselves that they didn't want unveiled. It could be something with the physical body. It could be something, something Capricorn-like, something connected with the skin, or the bones, or the legs, something that they were reluctant to let out. They wanted to keep secret, but it might come out at this time. It could be one's outlook, something about the personality. It might be something rather depressive about the personality, melancholy that comes out. It could also be that, you're talking about 1st house, and you're talking about the Black Moon Lilith could be connected with a very strong enemy, formidable enemy to Capricorn. Could it be that maybe that enemy might be themselves because we're talking 1st house? That's a possibility. It could be somebody that really that comes out that really impacts them very strongly and personally. That could be a Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, or somebody that simply embodies those characteristics. Now, last but not least, Chiron will still be in Pisces, and of course the 3rd house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Capricorn. So the thing about this is there could be some wounds, some suffering that might be associated with siblings if applicable, maybe a neighbor. This could be some kind of, it could be maybe being deceived, might be a neighbor or a sibling perhaps that might be duplicitous and deceptive, and Capricorn might suffer because of this. It could be over some document where the fine print wasn't read properly 100%, where those details were overlooked that were essential. maybe something in communications in general. Could also be, I mean, you're looking at the Pisces energy. Could it be that maybe a neighbor that one's close with, or sibling, if applicable, might succumb to some recreational drug use or alcohol use, or maybe some accidental or inadvertent assimilation of some drug? Yes, that propensity for that definitely increases with this. But keep in mind, Chiron is also, I mean, it's the wounded healer, so it could also be about healing. In doing so, maybe through communication with a lot of that Pisces, like compassion and empathy. It could be done perhaps maybe through communication. If someone's an astrologer, especially because astrology is connected with the metaphysical, it could be done through that perhaps as well, or maybe even through spiritual communication. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for my Capricorn November 2017 horoscope forecast. Stay tuned next time, where I'll be giving you my Aquarius November 2017 horoscope forecast. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.